To prevent a user from listing the FTP server's file system contents through an FTP session, we can put the users in what is known as a chroot jail. Chroot is a way to specify a particular directory as a user or system's root directory, preventing them from browsing anything else outside of the specified directory. To do this, we will need to add another directive to our vsftpd.conf file. Let's jump back over to our FTP server. Now, back on our FTP server, let's uncomment the directive to chroot local users to their home directory. We will use the chroot list enable option and set it to yes so that vsftpd will read a list of usernames to put into a chroot jail. Now, we need to create a new file called the chroot list that has a list of usernames that will be dumped into a chroot jail when they log in through FTP. The chroot list is created within the etc vsftpd directory. Let's go ahead and add both the root user and the K-Armstrong user. Then save the file. Now we need to restart the vsftpd service. And let's go back to our other system and see if we can still see the full file system's contents of the FTP server when we FTP into the server. Now all we see is the user's home directory. Now onto anonymous FTP access. A user can log into the FTP server as an anonymous user with the following. As for a password, the common convention is to enter in your email address, but this is not necessary unless the server enforces it. If we do an ls while logged in as anonymous, all we see is a directory called pub. This is the default directory that an anonymous user sees. This is set up automatically during the FTP service install. Commonly, content that is made publicly available to users will be stored in the pub directory for anonymous users to download. Let's change to the pub directory to see what is in there. And there is a file called getme. We can run the lcd command to change to our desktop directory on our local system. We get confirmation that we did change the directory on our local system. Now we can download the getme file. And we can see that our getme file has in fact been downloaded to the user's desktop. Let's go back to the FTP server to see where this pub directory is located. Back on the FTP server, let's take a look at the /var directory. We can see that we have an FTP directory under var, so let's see what is in there. And there is our pub directory that the anonymous user sees. So when an anonymous user logs in, they actually log into the /var/FTP directory. Let's take a quick look at the SE Linux security context for the /var/FTP directory. An anonymous user would fall into the world or other category of user permissions, and we can see that other has read and execute permissions, and our security context is set to public content T. Keep this in mind if you need to set up the anonymous login to be able to upload content. You will need to make sure that the proper permissions are in place and that your FTP configuration file has the directives set to allow anonymous uploads. Lastly, but certainly not least, make sure that your ST-Linux booleans are correctly configured to allow anonymous access if you need to enable anonymous upload. I recommend that you practice this on your own. Look up the man page for the vsftpd.conf file to see some more of the various options and directives that you can use to configure the FTP server.